sparkling eyes, wonderful smile.
I thought this girl was the...
Go back to school online with News 13 at the Meadows Mall.
From ABC News, 2020 continues. Once again, Hugh Downs.
Right now, we're at the cutting edge of redefining the family in America. 18 million children live alone with their mothers, either because of divorce or because their parents never married. That's more than 1 in 3. Very different from the time when their boomer parents were growing up. Then it was 1 in 8. Single moms today work very hard trying to make up for an absent dad. But can they? Or are there things that only a father can give a child? John Stossel takes us again into the sad world of one little boy desperate for a father.
You gotta get up early tomorrow morning.
It's bedtime in the Duran household.
Did you have a good day?
No.
You didn't?
Yeah.
How about a kiss goodnight?
What's missing from this goodnight scene, Ann Arbor, Michigan, is what's missing in about a third of American families, the presence of the father.
Night, Josh.
7-year-old Josh is upset about it.
It's just my dad. I never got to see him before. It's because he doesn't really talk to anyone.
Josh has never met his dad. His mother, Kathy, had already split up with Josh's father by the time she discovered she was pregnant. She never doubted she could raise a child alone. She thought fathers were useful, but certainly not necessary. Kathy was surprised when at age 3, Josh talked about missing something.
I was taking him to daycare, and he just all of a sudden looked at me and said, "Do we have a daddy?" And I just, was stunned. Okay, you finish eating as soon as you're done.
Josh is hyperactive, but Kathy's now convinced that much of his behavioral problems are related to the fact that he has no relationship with his dad.
There's a napkin right behind you.
No, they're right.
Turn around, it's right there.
I don't see a napkin.
I see it.
I don't.
You better get it.
Not.
At times he'll say, I hate myself. And that's a strong statement for a child to say, especially when
he might not if his father were around?
I think that he would feel better if he knew his dad.
Kathy has repeatedly asked Josh's father to get involved with Josh, to even meet Josh. But so far, he's refused. He didn't want to talk to us either.
Are you annoyed with him?
No, I'm not angry at him in any way. I don't even know he didn't do anything. See, I never get to even see him before.
You wish you were around?
Yeah.
What would you do with him?
I don't know. Guy things.
What's a guy thing?
Sports. Go out and do other things.
What happens to children when fathers are not involved in their lives? The results are very clear. Children suffer.
Wade Horn and David Blankenhorn lead the National Fatherhood Initiative, a group dedicated to persuading America's fathers to take more responsibility.
Unless we reverse this drift toward fatherlessness, we will be a nation in decline.
Numerous studies do show that kids that grow up without fathers are more likely to fail in school, that the boys are more likely to commit crimes, that the teenage girls are more likely to get pregnant.
On almost any measure of child well-being, when fathers are absent, children do worse.
Why? Maybe it's just that single mothers are too overwhelmed to parent well.
It's a very stressful, exhausting, tiring life.
She always works. I could have someone to stay home with me. I always have to go to some stupid place after school, and I don't like it. I just want to go home on the bus, and my dad can be there.
I can see that kids need 2 parents, but why must it be a father? Why not 2 women?
Men and women do things differently when it comes to parenting. Men are not simply substitute mommies when mom can't be there. They behave differently around children.
This isn't just his theory. Several tests back it up. A study done years ago at Harvard found even infants respond differently to mothers and fathers. Parents were told simply interact with your child. Mothers comforted the babies, held them snugly, cooed to them, talked baby talk. Most fathers talk differently.
Oh, you had beef today for the first time. How was that?
The father's games were much more likely to pull the baby up into this kind of heightened state of alertness.
Dr. Michael Yogman ran the study.
Whether it was tapping the baby on the baby's arm, shaking the baby's legs,
buttoning the baby's lips.
Other studies with older infants showed that boy babies who had fathers who played actively with them scored higher on baby IQ tests. Dr. Ross Park has studied parents' interaction with kids for 28 years.
Play is a very complicated business. Moms and dads tend to specialize. Mother becomes more of a caregiver, manager, as well as playmate. Father's specialty seems to be play.
Want to ride my back like a horsey?
You see it clearly in the hours of tapes Dr. Park made of kids with their parents. Mothers do a lot of talking and reading.
Why do you think the turtles, man?
Fathers did lots of wrestling, what the scientists call rough and tumble play. Park says one reason America is so violent is that many kids don't do this with their dads.
Play has serious consequences, and it teaches some serious lessons. This teaches kids how to regulate their emotions. And you got to learn to signal to dad saying, hey, Dad, that's enough. Shut it down. Slow it down. I've had too much.
Why is that useful?
The kids are learning through Dad how to modulate their play, how to play effectively, how to read other...
Stop when it gets too rough.
Stop when it gets too rough.
And this, he says, is an important step toward becoming a civilized man.
Why can't a mother teach a boy how to be a man?
The best mother in the world cannot be a father. Children with the best mothers in the world want and need their fathers. The boy needs to figure out what it means to be a man. Boys who don't get that from their father tend to develop what the researchers call protest masculinity or hypermasculinity. They're the kids who are much more likely to say, I'm going to hurt you if you look at me the wrong way. I've got that swagger and that kind of extreme masculine behavior.
Because they have to prove to themselves they're a man.
The father is like the gatekeeper for the son into the world of feeling like he's a good man.
They say fathers are also more likely to make kids feel good about taking risks.
If you go to any playground in America and you look at children who are climbing on the jungle gym, what you'll see is a father who's sitting there, standing there saying, almost at the top, you're almost at the top, keep going. And a mother who's saying, oh, be careful, be careful. And what's important about that is that children both need to be encouraged to achieve, but have a sense that if they falter, there's someone there to catch them, to nurture them.
How might a father parent him differently than you do?
Well, I hate to admit this, but I've had this conversation with other women. Men tend to have this authority. I always say, I don't know if it's the male testosterone, but when they walk into a room and they tell a child to pick up their toys, they're probably going to do that faster than if the mother says it.
There's research that backs that up, too. Psychology professor Mavis Hetherington had moms and dads ask kids to clean up their toys. Overwhelmingly, the kids cleaned up faster for dad.
Mothers will natter at their children. And by nattering, I mean they will chatter away, firing out commands without any follow-through on the commands.
You want to then hit the bed? You gotta brush your teeth.
I have no hitting the bed.
Honey, it's getting late. You got school tomorrow. No, you're not staying up later.
So they'll say, now, look at this mess, look at this mess. Why don't you pick up this mess? If you don't pick up this mess, you're going to get into real trouble. Fathers are far less likely to natter at children. Children see fathers as more threatening and more powerful than mothers.
Josh, get ready. Get your legs up.
For Josh, Kathy thought a male presence was so important that she's enrolled him in karate lessons and has him spend summers with a family friend, Jeff. Back home, when things get rough, even the threat of getting Jeff involved makes a difference.
If Josh is really giving me an argument that I'm just not getting anywhere, the trick is that we pick up the phone and say, I'm calling Jeff, and it's no, it's like...
What, Jeff over the phone?
Yeah, even that. Well, he has a very masculine voice. It's very strong and very authoritarian.
Is there something about a man's voice that makes you sort of sit up and take notice more, obey?
Yeah.
She says that sometimes you'll listen to Jeff when you won't listen to her.
Because he's a guy. And I obey guys. I don't really like to obey ladies.
And again, it's not just boys who need fathers.
Fatherless girls are much more likely to engage in early sex, to have children outside of marriage.
Because the father wasn't there to give them some sort of confidence?
For the daughter. The first man in her life is her father. He's the first man who she wants to love and be loved by. And if she loves her father and is loved by her father, she feels that she is love-worthy.
Which underscores what all the experts say, that it's not just any dad that makes the difference. It has to be an involved dad.
What men need to understand is that their children need them. They need their time. They don't need their money. They need their time. They need them to be there to read them stories at night. They need them to be there to help them celebrate their victories. And they need them to be there to help them when they have problems.
And Kathy now believes that fathers are more important than she thought they were when she had Josh.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Have a good day.
Still, lots of kids raised by single moms do grow up just fine.
No, you don't. I'll see you tonight, honey. Have a good day.
It's just that it's harder
Bye.
for everyone.
It is a challenge, John. Did Josh ever get to meet his father?
He did not. I had hoped that when his father saw this report, he would come forward, but he will not. His father says he is just not into parenting.
I'm sorry for Josh.
Me too.
Isn't there a countervailing trend, John, among fathers who want to be nurturing and to share parenting with the mother?
Well, I certainly think I'm seeing one, in that there are many signs of it, like the Million Man March and these Promise Keeper meetings that fill whole football stadiums. Men are talking about parenting now. It used to be sort of wimpy for a man to be a parent, and now it's more accepted and expected.
Sure.
People are talking about it.
It's not necessarily unmasculine to want to be nurturing to your child.
It's a good trend.
Great. Thank you, John.
Thanks.